Hi guys, Lisa Edwards here of Exclusive Career Coaching, and today I want to talk about developing your own personal brand. I've referred to this in a lot of the other videos that I've done, and I've certainly talked about it a lot on my podcast, The Exclusive Career Coach. I really want to drill down and give you some tips for helping you to develop your personal brand, or I probably better said, some things to think about in developing your personal brands, kind of ways to approach this. So let's kind of set the stage on why this is important. We all know that companies are brands and their products are brands, and we're very familiar with the brand attributes of Nike shoes or Starbucks coffee or McDonald's. What is really kind of popular right now is for people to develop their own personal brand, and I only think that that is going to continue, because we're really thinking about you as a product, because that is effectively what you are when you are selling yourself to a potential employer. When you are selling yourself for a promotion within your existing company, you are selling yourself as a brand, and to get really clear on your brand attributes is going to help you to present that brand in an effective manner. What's the alternative of not knowing your personal brand? You become the generic candidate, right? So if you think about when people buy generic, the only reason they ever buy generic is for cost, to save money. There is no other compelling reason. I can't think of a situation in which I've ever actually preferred the brand, the generic over the brand name. The taste is not better, or the quality is not better, it's just less expensive. And so if you don't have a clearly articulated brand, then you become the generic candidate, which isn't going to command you the top dollar that you want as you seek promotions and as you seek new jobs in new companies. So here's some kind of things to think about. Oh, and by the way, this information needs to be effectively translated into both your resume and your LinkedIn profile. So it's not enough to just sort of have it in your head and even speak it. If it's not consistent with what's happening on your resume and your LinkedIn profile, it's going to fall short. So here are some questions and sort of considerations in developing your personal brand. So I want you to think about, and I would recommend writing these things down, journaling on this. So first question, what have been my 3 biggest successes in my career thus far? If you're just starting out, then your 3 biggest successes may be in college or in internships or part-time jobs that you've had. Certainly if you've been out of school for a while, then it should be your 3 biggest successes in your job. And then kind of part B of that question is what was the secret sauce? So that's the term that I use for kind of how did that thing happen, right? So you could take the same achievement. Let's say you led a large team to a very successful result on a very complex project. Your secret sauce for getting there could be very different from other people's secret sauce. So I could talk to 20 people who have led very large complex projects to successful conclusion. And if I dig down and ask them questions, I'm going to find that their how was all very different. The how that they used to get there was different in each situation. So really thinking not only about the what was the success that I had, but also the how, what was my secret sauce how I got it done. So that's number 1. Number 2, what do you hear consistent feedback about? So I want you to sit down and think about, okay, boss, performance evaluations, peer reviews, customer feedback, direct reports if you have them. What have they said about you? Colleagues throughout the company, people you used to work with, people you work with now. What are the themes that you keep hearing over and over again? I'll give you a perfect example. And this was definitely one of my brand attributes, and I'd like to think it still is. When I was in higher education, I would consistently hear from faculty, especially, and other administrators on campus about how professional I always was. I was always very professionally dressed, and a lot of times on college campuses, people aren't. And I also appeared very professional in the way that I spoke, in the way that I kind of did my business. So that professionalism carried me very far because of the kind of work I was doing. I was telling people how to kind of manage their careers. I was telling them how to dress for the interview and dress for their career. And I was, bringing career speakers on campus and prospective employers. And all of that was really facilitated by the fact that I had a very professional appearance. So what do you hear consistently from other people about what you do well, what your strengths are, what your secret sauce is maybe? Another question. What do I do better than anyone else in my space, right? So whatever your job is, think about the others. Maybe there are other people doing the same job in your department. Maybe you've worked with people or have had friends who do the same kind of job, family members, whatever it is. Kind of put yourself up next to them and think about, what do I do better than they do? What is it that's different about me? Another question is kind of the reverse about this, reverse of that question. It is, what do I dislike about how others do their job? What do I dislike about how others do their job? I think that's a really interesting question to think about. What do I dislike about how the industry goes about the work that I do as a whole? And what, that really leads into, how do I do it better? And here's another question, and this is one you would have to ask other people. I would ask them, what 3 adjectives would you use to describe me? And I would ask a cross-section of people, colleagues, boss, direct reports, customers, whatever it is that whoever you interact with on a regular basis, professionally speaking. My suspicion is, if you ask enough people, you're going to hear the same couple of words come up over and over again, or it's an adjective for the same word, right? It's a synonym of the same word. So ask some other people, what adjectives would you use to describe me? And then finally, what am I consistently called upon to do? So here's the thing. Once you've been out in your career for some time, people aren't going to ask you to do something that you have not been good at, that you've not been excellent at. They're going to come back to you for the things that you continue to do well. So what am I consistently called upon to do? So those are some questions to think about in developing your brand. Now, when I work with clients on their branding for their resume, their LinkedIn profile, and obviously also for their own personal use through the interview, the job search process, just in life, we're going to go a lot deeper, and I'm going to really dig and get a lot of information out of them. But those are some of the sorts of questions that you can ask yourself and ask others. I'm going to give those to you again to really start thinking about your brand. Now, I haven't talked to you in this video about kind of how to put all of that together into a clearly articulated statement. We'll do that on a future video, but today is the questions to ask yourself to get you thinking about it. So what are the 3 big successes you've had in your career thus far, and what is your secret sauce to those successes? What consistent feedback do you get from others? What do I do better than my colleagues or other people in my space? What do I dislike about how others do this job? What 3 adjectives do others use when describing me? And what am I consistently called upon to do? All right, I hope this helps. If you would like to connect with me, I would love to hear from you. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Lisa Edwards, and that's Lesa Edwards. You can connect with me on Instagram at lisa.edwards. You can find me on Facebook at Exclusive Career Coaching. And hey, you can check out my podcast at The Exclusive Career Coach. It's all things career management, not just job search. So if you need anything in that career management space, I'm your girl. I would love to share that information with you. So check me out wherever you get your podcasts. If you would like to schedule a free 30-minute consult call with me, where we talk about your either job search goals or your career goals, and I promise you, we move you forward, then you can do that. I'll give you the URL for getting my online calendar. I will ask you some really deep questions, and I will give you at least 2 suggestions, tools, strategies, tips, best practices that can move you along your path. And if I think I can help you further, I'll let you know what that looks like at that time. The URL to access my calendar is www.timetrade.com/book/D6KLN. That again is www.timetrade.com/book/D6KLN. See you again soon.